It's about moving on, like, peacefully. That's what the message is supposed to be, moving on peacefully. It's all love, peace.
Cardi B opens up. The painful truth behind her split from Offset. What happens when love slowly slips through your fingers and you can feel it dying but you're powerless to stop it? If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button right now because what we're about to reveal about Cardi B and Offset's relationship will shock you to your core. This is Celebrity Program TV. And today we're diving deep into one of the most heartbreaking celebrity splits of the decade. Cardi B just dropped a bombshell confession that has the entire world talking, and trust me, you need to hear every single word of this because what she revealed on Jay Shetty's On Purpose podcast this Monday is absolutely devastating. The Bronx superstar, known for her unapologetic attitude and fierce persona, opened up in a way we've never seen before about her marriage to Offset and the agonizing process of watching everything fall apart. This isn't your typical celebrity breakup drama. This is raw, this is real, and this is absolutely heartbreaking. Let's get straight to it. Cardi B looked Jay Shetty in the eyes and said something that cuts deeper than any diss track ever could. She said, "I felt the love dying." Those 5 words carry the weight of years of pain, struggle, and the kind of emotional torture that only someone who's been in a failing relationship can truly understand. But here's where it gets even more intense. She didn't just feel it from her side. She felt it from both perspectives. She could sense Offset pulling away. She could feel her own heart growing cold. The connection that once burned so hot it dominated headlines and social media was slowly turning to ash, and there was nothing either of them could do to stop it. Now, before we go any further, make sure you're subscribed to Celebrity Program TV because we bring you the real stories, the raw truth, and the celebrity news that matters. Hit that notification bell too because you don't want to miss what's coming next in this story. Picture this. You're Cardi B. You're at the absolute peak of your career. You've conquered the music industry, broken records, built an empire, and amassed millions of fans worldwide. But behind closed doors, the person you thought you'd spend forever with is becoming a stranger. Cardi revealed something that many people in failing relationships will recognize instantly. She said, "I was quite alone because I chose to be alone." Think about that for a second. She chose isolation. Not because she wanted to punish Offset or play games, but because sometimes when you're drowning in emotional pain, being alone feels safer than being vulnerable with someone who's already halfway out the door. The timeline of this breakup is crucial to understanding just how much pain Cardi endured. In July of 2024, she finally pulled the trigger and filed for divorce from Offset. But here's the twist that makes this story even more tragic and complicated. Just 2 months after filing those papers in September, Cardi gave birth to their 3rd child together, a beautiful baby girl named Blossom. Can you imagine the emotional whirlwind she must have been experiencing? Filing for divorce while pregnant, knowing that you're bringing another life into a broken family, wondering if you're making the right decision, questioning everything you thought you knew about love and commitment. But wait, because what Cardi said next is going to break your heart into a million pieces. She opened up about what it was like carrying a child while her marriage crumbled around her. She said, "While it was dying, I had a human growing inside me." Let that sink in for a moment. While her relationship was on life support, while the love she once believed would last forever was gasping for its final breath, she had a baby growing in her womb. A constant reminder that no matter how much she wanted to escape the pain, she was forever tied to this man. Forever connected through their children. Forever bound by a history that can never be erased. And the questions that haunted her. They're the same questions that haunt anyone who's ever left a long-term relationship. Cardi confessed, "All I could think was, what will life be like without this person?" Because when you've built your entire adult life around someone, when you've created children together, built businesses together, survived scandals together, and weathered storms that would have destroyed most couples, the thought of existing without them feels impossible. It's not just about missing them. It's about reimagining your entire identity. Who is Cardi B without Offset? Who is the woman behind the persona when the person who knew her most intimately is no longer there? If you're loving this deep dive into the real story behind the headlines, go ahead and subscribe to Celebrity Program TV right now because we're not done yet. There's so much more to uncover about this relationship and what really went wrong. Let's talk about the elephant in the room. This wasn't Cardi and Offset's first rodeo with relationship problems. Their marriage has been plagued with cheating scandals, public breakups, reconciliations, and more drama than a primetime soap opera. But what's different about this time is the finality in Cardi's voice. There's no anger in her words during this podcast interview. There's no bitterness or revenge in her tone. There's just profound sadness and acceptance. She's not fighting anymore. She's not trying to make it work. She's mourning the death of something that was once beautiful and trying to figure out how to move forward. The emotional maturity Cardi displayed in this interview is something that deserves recognition. She didn't trash Offset. She didn't air all their dirty laundry or use the platform to play victim. Instead, she took accountability for her own feelings and acknowledged that the love died from both sides. That takes incredible strength and self-awareness. It would have been so easy for her to paint herself as the innocent party, to blame everything on Offset's well-documented infidelities, to gather sympathy from fans and turn public opinion against him. But she didn't. She simply told her truth about feeling alone, about watching love fade, and about the impossible position of bringing a child into the world while simultaneously ending a marriage. What makes this situation even more complex is the fact that Cardi and Offset share 3 children together. They have Culture, who's now 6 years old, Wave, who's 3, and now baby Blossom, who was born in the midst of all this turmoil. Co-parenting with someone you once loved so deeply but can no longer be with romantically is one of the most challenging situations any parent can face. You have to see them regularly. You have to communicate. You have to put your own hurt aside and do what's best for the kids. And let's be real, when you're both mega-famous celebrities with egos, careers, and public images to maintain, that becomes exponentially more difficult. The music industry has watched this relationship unfold from the very beginning. When Cardi and Offset first got together, it was electric. They were the power couple everyone wanted to be. The chemistry was undeniable. They collaborated on hit songs, they flaunted their love on social media, and they seemed absolutely unstoppable. But as we've seen time and time again in Hollywood, what glitters isn't always gold. Behind the designer clothes, the luxury cars, the sold-out shows, and the magazine covers, there were 2 human beings struggling to make a relationship work under the most intense public scrutiny imaginable. Make sure you're still subscribed to Celebrity Program TV because we've got more celebrity truth bombs coming your way that you absolutely cannot miss. Cardi's vulnerability in this interview gives us a glimpse into something we rarely see from celebrities of her caliber. She's not hiding behind her brand. She's not performing for the cameras. She's just being human. And in that humanity, there's a universal story that millions of people can relate to. How many of us have felt love dying? How many of us have stayed in relationships longer than we should have because we were terrified of the unknown? How many of us have had to make impossible choices that we knew would change our lives forever? The phrase, "I felt the love dying," is going to resonate with so many people because it captures something that's hard to articulate. Love doesn't usually end with a bang. It doesn't typically explode in one catastrophic moment. More often than not, it withers slowly, fades gradually. You wake up one day and realize that the person lying next to you feels like a stranger. The inside jokes don't land anymore. The touch that used to send electricity through your body now feels cold. The future you planned together starts to look like a prison sentence instead of a dream. And you can't pinpoint exactly when it happened, but somewhere along the way, the love died. For Cardi B, that realization came while she was pregnant with their 3rd child. Can you imagine anything more emotionally devastating? Your body is going through massive changes. Your hormones are all over the place. You're supposed to be experiencing the joy of expecting a new baby, but instead, you're mourning the death of your marriage. You're making plans for a nursery while simultaneously consulting with divorce attorneys. You're picking out baby names while wondering how you're going to explain to your older kids why mommy and daddy aren't together anymore. The strength it must have taken for Cardi to file for divorce while pregnant cannot be overstated. Society tells pregnant women to avoid stress, to stay calm, to create a peaceful environment for the baby. But sometimes life doesn't allow for that. Sometimes you have to make the hard choice even when the timing is terrible. Sometimes you have to choose your own mental and emotional well-being even when it means disrupting the traditional family structure you always envisioned. Before we wrap this up, hit that subscribe button on Celebrity Program TV one more time if you haven't already, because the celebrity stories keep coming and you need to be here for all of them. Cardi B's story is still being written. This chapter has closed, but there are many more to come. She's proven time and time again that she's a survivor, a fighter, and someone who refuses to be defined by her circumstances. She'll continue to make hit records. She'll continue to build her empire. She'll continue to be an amazing mother to her 3 children. And somewhere down the line, she'll probably find love again, though she's in no rush and doesn't need a man to complete her. As for Offset, his side of the story remains largely untold in this context. Relationships are complicated, and there are always 2 perspectives. What we know is that he's also going through this publicly while trying to maintain his career and his relationship with his children. Co-parenting might be their biggest challenge yet, but for the sake of culture, wave and blossom, hopefully they can find a way to make it work. So what's the takeaway from all of this? Love is complicated. Marriage is hard work. And sometimes, despite your best efforts, despite truly wanting it to work, despite having children together and building a life together, love dies. And when it does, the kindest thing you can do for yourself and for the other person is to acknowledge it, mourn it, and move forward. Cardi B is doing exactly that. And she's doing it with a grace and maturity that deserves respect. That's all for today on Celebrity Program TV. If this story moved you, if it made you think, if it gave you a new perspective on celebrity relationships and the very real human emotions behind the headlines, do me a favor and subscribe right now. Drop a comment below letting me know your thoughts on Cardi and Offset split. And keep coming back, because we've always got the real stories, the deep dives, and the celebrity truth that you won't find anywhere else. Until next time, keep it real, and we'll see you in the next one.